Have you ever had a dream, an aspiration, ambition, something you'd really love to achieve, but so far it's eluded you? The barrier is normally a blend of lack of self-belief, fear, imposter syndrome. It's these thoughts that stop people before they ever get started. But what if we could remove these barriers? What if we could dismantle these mental blocks? If we could do that, there's a very good chance that we could change some lives. This is our mission. Over the course of 90 days, we're going to help amazing people to take on their biggest, hairiest, scariest goals. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? This is mental. A couple of weeks into the challenge, Nick had an opportunity to meet the air ambulance crew who saved his life and learn what it takes to keep them in the air.
Who's this person?
This is Tammy. So Tammy was the paramedic that was there on the day.
Oh yeah, I think you deserve a hug, don't you?
This is Nick and his wife.
So what did you do then? Tell me, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Go on, I want to know, because obviously I wasn't here, was I?
Yeah. Yeah, so we landed. At this point, you was brought out of the water.
Yeah.
Confirmed cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
It's obviously not breathing for yourself.
Yeah.
Your heart weren't pulsating. We then did advanced life support on you.
Right.
Got you breathing again.
Yeah.
Got a pulse back. And then one of the doctors that's now working with us on the helicopter, we just put you to sleep.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah.
I did hear about that.
Yeah, so we
I think I was trying to get. You said I was trying to get up because I was getting
so
fractures,
you were
wasn't I?
getting quite a bit agitated, which can be normal.
Yeah.
So it's when your heart reperfuses, you're reperfusing your brain.
Yeah.
So we just give you some what we call midazolam, which is a bit of a sedative.
Yeah.
That sort of eased you a little, and then Alex Bell, the doctor, put you to
Yeah.
sleep, and then we took you to Rotherham.
Met him. Yeah.
So yeah.
As a result of contacts from the Yorkshire Air Ambulance, they said that I could meet the crew who came to me on that day. Did I want to meet them? Absolutely, I wanted to meet them. There weren't enough words to say thank you. So they arranged a visit to Nostell Priory, which is from where the helicopter flies from, and showed us around. We saw a fantastic new Airbus helicopter, state of the art, everything on there. It is literally a flying surgery.
So yeah, I'm in one piece.
Yeah.
Fixed.
Well, not only that, are you? You're more in one piece, aren't you? Like
Well-
physically, mentally, and back to what you were doing, which is in fact incredible.
It has had a change to our lives. I'm going to spend all our money. Mags and I haven't said, right, okay, top 10, we're going to Afghanistan and we're going to do this. We've sat down, we said, right, I value life. I did before, and time with always being surrounded by positive people. And that's just Nick as a person. I always have successful people around me. It's not just me who becomes an elite swimmer. Mags, my coach, Joel, everybody around me, uplifts me. I have to execute it, for want of a better word. Some of us, when we get to that level, we can get knocked off. We suffer from imposter syndrome.
Yeah. That's completely normal.
Over however many years from, being good at things, I deal with adversity, but I pick myself up and I think, right, if I can't do this, what can I do? Rather than doing nothing. And trying to key into people who got that expertise.
Yeah.
And lots of people can't do that. So
It's a good mindset to have, though.
There's very few who can do that, because it is difficult. People suffer from trauma, and they live in that moment, and the walls come up around. So even when this happened to me, I was in hospital and I was sending out. It's amazing the amount of people who are in the swimming world who work in triage, who work in rehab, etc. And all this was coming to me. No, you can move, Nick. Get up and move. And I was thinking, I can't. You can. Just go and sit on the bed and do little things. And it was, at least I was doing something, wasn't I?
It's always the aftermath of, like, when you come away, and it might not necessarily even be the day after. It could be weeks, months.
Weeks.
You might even have all of a sudden a nightmare, or you might just see something that just reminds you of that incident. Like you say, stepping back into the water, like subconsciously your mind is going back to a really emotional part, even though obviously you went into cardiac arrest in the water, but subconsciously your mind will link back to like where that happened.
Yeah.
And the mind's a
Yeah.
funny
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
isn't it? But and I think it's really important that I think in the talks that you do, I do think it's important to express like maybe not so much if you don't want to say it about yourself, Mags, but just how people do cope with it, because there's probably a hell of a lot of people out there that's lost family. Knowing how to deal with that, I think, is massive, because then that will affect you for the rest of your life too. And I think we look at things, don't we? And it's like if you saw someone with a broken leg and they went, "Nah, I'm not off to hospital," you'd be like crazy. But the mind also works the same way. Do you get what I mean? Like, I think it's really important that people seek help to get to even to offload.
Ooh, that was serious, wasn't it?
There were missing pieces in the jigsaw. The crew that gave me CPR at the event, the doctors, but I hadn't met the crew that really put the icing on the cake and kept me alive. And that was something that it wasn't niggling away. I'd started to build up this picture, and it needed to be pieced together, like I say, like a jigsaw. And that was one piece that was missing, and it was as if it just sealed it, and it was lovely.
Just mind your head on
Yeah.
little bit.
This is from the back, and what we carry, as you can see, quite a bit of equipment. But
Wow.
so that's a mechanical CPR device that we
Yeah,
carry.
yeah.
So initially, obviously, you start manually, so people will be on your chest physically with their hands. But then what we can do to free that person up and stop fatigue, and it's also better for you guys, is we place it underneath you, and that sort of starts doing the chest compressions.
So it's like a bear thing, is it?
Yeah, so you put a plate underneath you, and then you've got like a bit that comes over, and that does the chest compressions.
Oh, wow.
But it sort of prevents fatigue, and it frees people up then to do other things. I think we got there and used the device, I believe.
Yeah.
And then it just gives a bit more calm to the situation then, because you can kind of pop that under, concentrate on other things. Right, let's work from top to toe. Are we happy with the airway? Are we what drugs are we given? So on.
And what's the cost of that, Rebecca? Tammy, do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head, but probably at least £5,000.
Is it really?
But
wow.
Tom might know a bit more about equipment than me regarding costs.
That'd be interesting to know. These things would be interesting, because it would be a good point for me to raise, actually.
From the side, so we carry oxygen on there.
Yeah.
Feel free to come up if you want.
Oh, wow.
The defib's on there.
Yeah.
And then this is the primary bag, which has got like all the airway
everything.
stuff in.
Yeah.
All the drugs in, all the main things really.
Yeah.
And then a few drawers with spare things, and then usually one sat here en route to hospital to maintain the airway and stuff, and then one usually sat here so they can see the observations and stuff on the monitor. Yeah.
Wow, it's better than the earlier ones. And you know, the earlier ones were literally so small, weren't they? They were there to do a job,
quite
basically.
Fortunate, actually. Well, basically, I was with another paramedic, and they landed with a doc, and they put this patient to sleep. And I remember going over to their helicopter and thinking, "Wow, we're quite fortunate actually, because theirs is tiny inside." And I don't think they can get out because their blades hang low, and they have to wait until they stop.
That's right.
Until they can get out.
Which is limited. You can get out.
We can get out once they're running if we're not on a slope. That is.
Bless you guys. You know, the fundraising and trying to do this on a continual basis. I think, well, I'm not telling you what to do. If you've got stories and things where people have come out the other side as a result of quick intervention, then, there but for the grace of God go I. So, but do they realise how much it costs?
Yeah.
How many people do you talk to? Do they know what that costs to fly?
Yeah, it's an astronomical amount of money that we fundraise for every day to be able to do it. But the people of Yorkshire are so generous.
Yeah.
People are really, really supportive and help us to do it. And it's just, it is entirely through that continued generosity and support. Without it, we wouldn't be able to go, and we wouldn't be able to do the work that we do.
We'd had a fantastic day there, and I don't know whether it was the emotions or the overall the overall situation is having to talk about it. Was real, and I said that I would raise money for them as a result of what they did for me, and that's the least that I could do. So we've forged a relationship, and it continues on as we sit here now. Excuse me. Got me there.
Nick is incredibly grateful for everything that the Yorkshire Air Ambulance have done for him and wanted to do his bit to say thank you. We talked about creating an event that could be his summit of the mountain on his journey to become a cardiac champion. So it made sense to use the opportunity to raise funds for both the Yorkshire Air Ambulance and the British Heart Foundation. Good evening, welcome to AMT Headingley Stadium. This evening is devoted to an incredibly important issue, to our hearts. I almost said an issue that's close to all of our hearts, but I decided not to say that because it would be too dad jokey. Nick and I talked about how to set up his event at Headingley. My first question was, do you want to do it in Leeds? Because your audience are on Teesside. But I think because he'd been to an event in Leeds and he knew it was done really well there, he wanted to go for Leeds. I also said to him, you need to give this a really good lead-in time. I know from experience that getting a room full of people is difficult. A few weeks, it's tough to fill a room full of people. And that if you want 10 people in a room, you've got to talk to 100 people. If you want 50 people in a room, you might have to talk to 500 people. So you need to give yourself enough time. And honestly, Nick only left himself 6 weeks. I thought it was going to be a tough call. When I was thinking about it, it's easy to think this doesn't really apply to me because maybe I'm not that old. Maybe I look after myself, so this isn't something that would affect me. This is something that affects other people. Heart attacks happen to other people. And I've caught myself in that way of thinking. And then I was chatting to Nick, heard all about his story. And since then, I've talked to loads of other people who've got very similar experiences, either personally or they know people who have. I collected one of the shirts that we're going to be auctioning later from a rugby coach earlier. So just this afternoon, and as I was sharing Nick's story with him, he said, oh, that happened to my best friend. He was in the gym and he just dropped down, he collapsed in the gym. And Sean, my friend, was in the stadium opposite, saw the air ambulance arrive, saw it leaving again, and didn't realise that his best friend was in there. And he said he was a healthy guy. And so actually, this is genuinely an issue that we all need to take note of. But first, I'd like to introduce you to somebody you already know, but who has been inspiring me, and I know will inspire you this evening. So please welcome our very own cardiac champion, Nick Parks. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Simon. Good evening. Simon and I touched base many, many years ago, and we've got a good working friendship relationship. And it's progressed to such a point where business and sport interlink. And as a result of that, and my story here, we're going to go on and we are going to make a massive change. So, who's this guy? It's Nick. A year ago, I died, 30th of July. I'm an open water swimmer, for those who don't know me. I've been a world champion, European, Spanish, German, French, Austrian, and As a result of that, obviously I got the prowess and, you know, I carried on swimming. Anyway, my heart stopped through this swim on the 30th of July. And thankfully, a kayaker managed to see me very, very quickly. He was about 25 metres away. As a result of that, I stand here in front of you today.
Delivery on that night was having a crux or a crutch there. Yes, I knew the story. We'd rehearsed it lots and lots of times. I wanted to do my best for lots of people concerned. I also wanted to get it across in a chronological way. But I also wanted to do it. And I don't think retrospect, I haven't seen it, and I don't think the impacts were where they needed to be. It was a presentation.
How do you get through tough moments? Fantastic question, that, isn't it? How did I get through those tough moments? I've got a warped sense of humour. The whole experience for Mags and I was traumatic, to say the least. Was I going to be able to walk again? I couldn't walk. Was I going to have brain damage? We didn't know. I'd got my own business. Could I get up and carry on with my business? I didn't know. All the people who were there on the day, there was hundreds of swimmers who had turned up. I started feeling guilty. I couldn't understand why this had happened to me. I wasn't angry, I just couldn't understand. And how could I say sorry to all these people, including Mags? These things were going through my mind, and I thought, come on, Nick, you know, get to it. But one thing that really helped me through that was the fact I was in a ward with 3 other guys, and these guys had the same sense of humour as I did. Anyway, this guy kicked off in the ward next door to us, and I heard the charge nurse say to the junior nurse, just let it go. So I stood up out of bed with the pipes and everything going, let it go, let it go. And the nurses came flying back in and said, Nick, will you just sit down. Look, everybody's heart monitors are going up through the roof, and he's had a triple heart bypass and he's got valves across there. And what I'm getting to is that was a bloody tough moment. But what did we do? We laughed about it and we smiled about it. So the lesson for us is, certainly for me at that moment in time, I had to go back to basics. As I say, I couldn't walk, I couldn't function properly. What was I going to do? So my swimming kicked in again, didn't it? What do? You get motivated, you bounce back, you set targets, and I tried to enjoy where I was. I was in the moment. I couldn't do anything about it whatsoever, but there was a bit of determination came out. Yeah, I was lucky, absolutely. But truth is, by rights, I should never have survived it. The law of averages in the middle of a lake, my temperature, the fact of the CPR, where we were, my physical ability, yes, it had a tone to it, but I shouldn't be here, but I am. So, hypertension, it's a silent killer, isn't it? How many others in the same position? Are you one of them? What about your friends at work? What about your loved ones? Honestly, I'm not here to scare you. I'm just here to give us all hope. I was lucky. You can make your own luck, but you don't have to make your own luck. The best part of it is pretty simple. Get trained, get checked, get healthy. So why don't you just go to the doctors, get yourself checked out, go to Boots, they'll do a blood test on you, look at your cholesterol. If you're suffering from hypertension, if you can't get in to see your GP, you know, request to go and have an ECG. It might be something, but better get checked than not. What do you want to do? Of course, the choice is yours. You could rely upon luck, cross your fingers and hope for the best, or you could make your own luck. On that note, I'm going to say thank you very much.
So I think when we look at the Headingley event, there are two elements of it. There's Nick's delivery, and there was the sort of impact of the event. In terms of his delivery, I think it was better than in Harrogate. There was more structure to it, but he still absolutely relied on his notes. And I think because he was so busy looking at his notes, reading his notes, that he missed opportunities to engage the audience. I mean, his eyes and his mind were on reading the notes and making sure he delivered properly, and not really on engaging with his audience. And I fed that back to him. And the other elements that we talked about quite often were the need to get the start right, the end right, and your key messages right. And I think he probably felt like he sort of waffled his way in, fizzled his way out, and missed a couple of the key messages as well. And it's that stuff that you can really sort of work on as a speaker.
When you watch it back, look at where you're looking.
Yeah, I know.
Because the one thing, if I could have tapped you on the head with a magic wand as you were doing it, would have been to say, don't look at the bloody screen. Look at them.
Yeah, yeah.
Deliver to them.
To them, yeah.
And you know what's on there. It's
Yeah.
just a bloody crutch.
Yeah.
Put the crutch down.
Absolutely, yeah.
Look at them, engage with them. And if you don't get the words perfect, but you really engage with them and you get the eye contact and you engage with the room, that's more important than getting the perfect words or remembering exactly what you wanted to say in the right order.
I think that's you're absolutely right. If it had been, let's just say, there, then I probably would have. And I think you're absolutely right. Was that my crutch? I agree with you. Yeah, it was. That was my lean on, as it were. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Simon. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And there'll be bits that, as you go back through it, having that impact, finding the little phrases that really resonate with people and making sure you deliver those. Yeah. Usually those are the ones where you deliver them and you let people think for a minute and then you can move on. Yeah. Or you create a little bit of silence, you deliver it.
Go back. Yeah.
And and that opening line, if you get that opening line right. So again, if I could have hit you on the head with a magic wand, as you come up, forget the I know Simon, this is what we put together.
Right,
forget all of that.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Nick. On the 30th of July, I died. Just that.
Yeah. Okay. And then you don't need to do the other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
there's
agree.
your
There's
your start.
You've got it
like,
straight. Bang.
Everybody's like, hi, that's not the normal opening line that you hear. Hi, I'm Nick.
Yeah.
On the 30th of July, I died.
Yeah. Right.
And then
got you. Yeah. No, I understand. Yeah.
And
there was still a bit of a head spin going on. It was, I know I equate a lot of this to swimming and racing, but that's what happened. There's always a bit of a euphoria the following day after a race, and there was with that one that I'd accomplished something which I'd never done before, which was it was a tick in. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't a summit for me. It was just I think I was halfway up. I was just above the glacier. I'd got up. I'd achieved it. Now I was at another base camp, for want of an explanation. So, and then felt that right, okay, I need to do better here. I need to have more people, and I need to deliver it in a more professional way, so that we can then rise up even further. So no, I certainly wasn't at the summit.
We join Tony as he delivers a keynote for a paying client and at the rugby stadium, which he calls his spiritual home. What could possibly go wrong?
I can't really finish this now, so there won't be a crescendo, because sorry. I want to segue into this, from this. Does anyone want a break? Shall I have a 5-minute break before I get going, okay? But should we just close the call then, okay?
Want to take part and achieve your big, hairy, scary goal? For more information about the next series of This Is Mental and how you could get involved, visit thisismental.tv.